mentally strong people do to bounce back from just about anything? Who likes to fail? Raise your hand. That's a question I often ask in speaking engagements. Truth is, no hands usually go up. Yet if you haven't been rejected a number of times, the current mantra goes, you just haven't experienced success.
You have some individuals who bounce back from everything. And when I say bounce back from everything, I mean everything that is sent against them to bring them down and to tear them down to the lowest part, to the deepest part of the sea. Be careful how you put your mouth on some people. Because I say they bounce back from everything. They are not alone. They are not alone.
I've bounced back from the worst. So trust me, I'll always be just fine.
How do you bounce back after a bad goal? Let's have Bob Broden from Align Your Mind break it down for us.
Well, number one, the first thing that you need to do is get a hold of your emotions and get a hold of your self-talk. Just breathe, calm your mind, and settle yourself. That is the first thing that you need to do when you let in that bad goal. Secondly, you need to be able to generate the right emotions to get back into the game. So you want to be able to feel confident. Oftentimes, goalies will think about how it went in. They might be blaming other people. They might be blaming themselves, and that brings on negative emotion. So if you are able to let go of those thoughts to begin with, just breathe and relax, you can start now using your self-talk, your verbal anchors, to generate those feelings of confidence and engagement back into the game. And you need to prepare this. You need to have a set of verbal anchors that you can say to yourself that bring you right back into that confident, engaged state of being for you.
So I've been thinking a lot about resiliency and the concept of how resilient human beings can be. We've all gone through a lot of things. You know, we've had COVID, we've had, political discord in our country. We've had, people say things to us, social media, fighting, over things. And it's been really difficult for a lot of us. But despite what happens in our world, in our community, in our family, in our relationships, we have one thing that we are always with, and that's ourselves. So despite what happens to us, we have to ask ourselves, okay, now what? How am I going to be now that this thing happened? And this is part of our own inner resiliency, is coming into ourselves, taking a breath, giving ourselves some self-love, and saying, now, how am I going to be? Am I going to be affected, or am I going to affect my own world? And now that I'm left with whatever I'm left with, can I just pick up the pieces? And the answer is yes, because we've done it over and over. If you're still here, you've done it, and you can continue to do it. So I just encourage you to, no matter what's happened to you in your life, just come back to yourself. Love yourself, care for yourself, and pick up the pieces and be the resilient self that you are.
4 things mentally strong people never do. 1, they don't wait for an apology to forgive somebody because they know that we forgive them for our sake, not theirs. It doesn't mean they agree with what they did. It just means they free themselves up from all that resentment, guilt, or any negative emotion they may feel as a result of it. 2, they never feel sorry for themselves because they know that just leaves you in an unresourceful state. Instead, what they'll do is they'll acquire the learnings that happened during that mistake so they never repeat it. 3, they never focus on the things they can't control. Instead, what they do is focus on how they respond in those situations instead. And 4, they expect nothing from nobody because they understand expectations reduces your joy. So instead, what they do is focus on exactly what they can do at that moment to add value to their surroundings.
13 things mentally strong people do, part 2. And the 7th thing is mentally strong people, they don't dwell on the past, but what they do is see what some of the lessons they can learn from. And this brings to the 8th thing, which is they avoid making the same mistake time after time, and this requires lots of self-discipline. And number 9, they are not envious of the success of others, but in fact, they're happy that people are succeeding and they want to learn how they can model after them. And the 10th thing that they do is they don't give up easily and they often embrace their own failures. And the 11th thing, mentally strong people are independent and they are comfortable being alone to take the actions that they are required to do so. And the second last of all, mentally strong people don't have an entitlement mindset. In fact, they focus on giving rather than taking. And last but not least, mentally strong people do understand the virtue of patience and that
People need to understand about extremely kind, nice, and loving people is that their other side is just as extreme. It's the hell they survive that makes them gentle. Don't mistake their self-control for weakness. The beast in them is sleeping, not dead.
I think all men need to become physically strong. And it's not just because be a big, strong man. It's because what physical discipline does to mentally. I'm training right now for a 100-mile race. People are asking me, why would you run a f***ing 100 miles? First of all, you're not built for it. You're not going to win it. I know all that. It's because of who I'm going to become in the process. And I want to go through all that pain because I know that will make me stronger. The process of becoming physically strong, it develops mental toughness better than anything else. Guarantee you, if you start training for a marathon, you will become mentally tough.
3 things that mentally strong people do. 1, they don't play victim, and they don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. 2, they are fair, compassionate, and kind, but they're unafraid to speak up when their values are put to the test. And 3, they celebrate other people's success. Remember this, blowing out somebody else's candle will never make yours shine any brighter.
6 things mentally strong people do. Number 1, they move on. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Number 2, they embrace change and they welcome challenges. Number 3, they stay happy. They don't waste energy on things that they can't control. Number 4, they're kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. Number 5, they're willing to take calculated risks. And number 6, they celebrate people's success. They don't resent.
That most men live lives of quiet desperation. It's one of my favorite quotes ever because it's true. And I've been that guy. You're just in this world where you just can't wait to just run away.
I think most women can actually genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are. Yeah. There are men out here in the world who have genuine loneliness.
You're pathological and oppressive. It's like, fine then, why the hell am I going to play? If that's the situation, if I get no credit for bearing responsibility, you can bloody well be sure I'm not going to bear any.
There's a stigma in this world that men can't talk. Listen, if you're a man and you've got weight on your shoulders and you think the only way you can solve this by killing yourself, please speak to someone. Speak to anyone. People would rather, I know I'd rather be made cry on my shoulder than go to his funeral next week.
You're a fucking asshole, dude. You're an asshole. You murdered yourself. You murdered yourself. You killed someone. That person happened to be you, but you couldn't even show up for yourself.
I will always choose you.
Wish you could trade eyes with me, cause there's complexities in complexion, but your skin is glow like diamonds. Dig me like the earth, you be giving birth to everything alive, baby, know your worth. I love everything about you, from your nappy curls to every single curve, your body natural. Same skin that was broken, be the same skin taking over. Most things out of focus view, but when you're in the room, they notice you. Cause you're beautiful. Yeah, you're beautiful. Them gon' fall in love with you in all of your glory. Your skin is not only dark, it shines and it tells your story. You dancing, they can't control you. They watching, they all adore you. Lately, Wish you could trade eyes with me. Cause there's complexities in complexion, but your skin is glow like diamonds. Dig me like the earth, you be giving birth to everything alive, baby, know your worth. I love everything about you, from your nappy curls to every single curve, your body natural. Same skin that was broken, be the same skin taking over. Most things out of focus view, but when you're in the room, they know